Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into our supplement creation with the liver that we freeze dried about a month ago. Currently the pieces are still in here intact in their small form. They're not crushed down, which we will need to do that here. And the contents of this box will help us get the powder into these capsules. If you have not seen something like this is the Capsule Machine. I'm sure you could buy this online. We picked it up at the local health food store, and it is important to know that when you buy this machine, it is for specific size capsules. In this case, we are using size 0, and it says 0 on the front of the box. It is important to make sure you get a fit or they will not work together. So the other item I have here is just a reserved old supplement bottle from us taking our supplements, and I wanted to make sure to reserve something big because based on however many we are able to complete today, I also wanted to make sure we could put the desiccant, the silica gel packet that goes in here that comes in this box. So we will hop to and go over the items in here, and we will start crushing our liver and move on to our next steps. We have all of our products out, and the, of course, first important one is our instructions here, and I hope to go a little bit more in detail of what they have here, but we will go over the items that came out of the box. The first here is the base, and that is what your bottom capsules go into, and then once you have the capsules all in there, then you pour your, in this case, powdered liver in there, and it would fill those capsules. This is the tamper to smush your product down into, depending on how much you want. That is how many times you would probably tamper it down to fill it, because when you're working with a powder, it's pretty light and it can get stuck, so pushing it down would condense it down to a smaller size, and then you could put more in and tamper it again. The third item that we have is what is the top. So you would put the top of the capsule in, and once you are ready to push the capsule bottom and top together, you would flip it over and squeeze them together, and when you push down, it pushes them together. The fourth item we have, this is actually the stand that the base sits on when you're doing this, and I'm sure that is to just help keep everything, you know, from breaking, because once again, these are plastic pieces, so if you pushed too hard in an uneven fashion, it could break it. So we will be using that when we are doing everything. And this is our, it says it's our spreader card, so once you put your product in, you would use it to fill in your powder liver and get it in there and move it around evenly. And the last one is that desiccant silica gel, and in this it tells you how to use this, and you can reuse it by putting it in the oven or microwave. In our case, we would be using an oven, so if it took on moisture from your product, you could reuse it for a future use of creating capsules. So we will move along, and the next step it tells you to do after you've made sure that you have everything and then you assemble it is to make sure you get a tray to put everything on. This is our kitchen table, so if I've missed any cleaning on it or anything, you don't want your powder to mix with anything else because you're trying to, use all of it. So if you have it on a clean tray, you could then again dump it back in, and it's just working with a clean environment in a smaller size instead of on a giant table. So we'll get a tray, and then we will move over to our liver to crush it down into a powder. Okay, so I have a small plate and some scissors to cut open our bag. I also got a Ziploc bag so we can put some pieces in at a time and visually see how well they're crushing down. I thought about doing it in the bag, but I don't know if we'll be able to fit all of what's in here into our supplements, so I didn't want to take that chance. So More than likely, we will be resealing this bag with what's left to do it another time, but we'll see. And we have our product in there and our oxygen absorber, which is very important. I'm trying to handle this as little as possible and just going to pour in a little bit to start off with. So keep that in there. And then I'll clip this closed. I also went ahead and got our kitchen scale out. I'm not sure if we'll use it, but it's here in case we do need it. So we will get to crushing. Of course, you could also do this in a Vitamix, blender, anything like that. This is just a little bit more quiet for our current napping situation, but that would be quick and very effective. But this way I can still see visually where we're at, and I can feel like if some of the pieces are just thicker or still more in a chunky amount, so I can kind of counter focus that. Okay, so I feel pretty good about this consistency that's in here. I know it's a little dark, the lighting is lost because the sun is setting, but the consistency is very powdery. It's exactly what we're looking for, and there might be some pieces in there, but we'll come across them as we start pouring it all in. Now we can start assembling our capsule machine. First we'll start with our stand, then our base, and our next step is our capsules. So we will open those up. I did not mention that this is a 24 capsule machine, so we can do 24 at one time. This part is a little labor intensive. Aside from emptying them out, you have to then separate them. On here, it's very small, so one is significantly larger than the other. So that is the big one, and that is what goes in here. So simultaneously, I will put the small one in here. Trying to put them in corresponding because it is really hard to see. Now we have our base and our top filled with capsule large and capsule small, and we will take our liver powder, dump it in here, use our spreader to get it as full as we can, tamper it down, and do it again depending on what we see. I additionally went and got a spoon to help us with this instead of trying to dump it in. So putting it right in here. We'll do one more to start. Okay, set that to the side. Use our spreader card here. These are as full as I think they're going to get without us tampering. So I'm going to basically sweep out the remainder and then tamper it down. So before I do that, this is what it looks like. All the little holes are filled, and I'm going to gently place that down in there, and then use our tamper to push it down, and it just created about the same amount of space. So we'll be able to take some more spoonfuls here. I'll just start with one this time and add as we need. Okay, that one spoonful was perfect for getting the amount in, and at this point we are going to now take our tops and put them on. And a drum roll please. Push down. And we have our capsules. So now defining moment is to see if they come out. So I'm gonna go get a bowl to put these into separate from what we're working with. That's another clean bowl. We have our bowl now, and now that all of our pills are on this side, our capsules, on here you push this down and hopefully they all come out in one piece. And there are our capsules. This is so exciting, and not to, of course, overwhelm with information, but when it comes to liver, if it's not your forte, like it's not ours, this is something that is going to help us. It is such a cool thing to be able to do this, and obviously I know that I could go out and buy this product, but I know exactly where this came from and how the animal was handled, and feel very confident that there are zero issues. And if you're looking to do this, I urge you to educate yourself on things like that before you tackle it. Obviously you can create tons of capsules from so many different things, but when it comes to liver, there's a lot of things that happen with the liver in your own body. You think about, it's like a filtration, so everything goes through there, and the same thing happens with an animal. It's really important to, you know, be conscious of where it's coming from. So we'll get these into our bottle and start another set. It's pretty standard that these are going to have a little bit of the powder on the outside of them as we continue to go along and do another set, since our machine is no longer in clean, not used fashion, but that's no different than what I've experienced when I bought supplements, and when you open your package and you discover that there is a broken capsule somewhere in that bottle. There's not a very easy way to confirm that you have all of them in, except doing a really close investigation. And another tip is just to make sure that you have, especially with the larger side, them pushed down as much as you can. It makes getting the product into there much, much easier. Spoon our powder in here. We do a little less than last time to begin with. Use our card to file everything into the spots. And as I'm doing this, I am finding some bits that just did not get small enough, and I'm just letting those fall out of the way. And in this case, I actually need a little bit more, so I'm going to use some of the reserve that we have on our tray here. So we'll just get another spoonful. There's such a unique smell to it. So now we will tamper and apply more liver powder. It's amazing. In the future, I more than likely will be doing a blender to do this. It would give me way more consistency in regards to getting everything nicely ground up, because there are some pieces like this in there that are pretty big, and it might be like some fat that was on the liver possibly, or just who knows. All right, we have our capsules filled, so now we get to take our topper with all of the smaller pieces, apply it on top, and then push it down. Take it apart. It's very satisfying to have that work. And we have our bowl for our capsules to go into. And then you push them out. And there always seems to be a couple that stay behind. So this process is working out pretty awesome. Like I said, this is going to just do such great things for us. And I mean, when beginning processing this liver, I only did maybe a third, possibly a quarter of that liver. And so far, we've only done, maybe a third of what was in this particular bag. So we have lots that it can spread across. And so far, with doing 2 sets of these, we have 48 pills in here. So dependent on who wants to partake in the yummy, this could last for sure over a month for one person, because I would suggest that if you are going into this, you start slowly, and maybe even slower than that, by taking 1 pill every other day. If you are not somebody who uses organ meat, it can be a shock to your system, not so much in a bad way, but there's always side effects that you can have. But if you are somebody who, you know, regularly eats meat, it will be a fantastic addition to your supplement array of things that you're taking. But I'm going to continue doing this set, and in the end, for this amount that we did 3 sets of capsules plus 4. So 72 plus 4 is 76, and 76 capsules coming out of this. It took me about 45 minutes, I would say, from crushing the liver to this point here. So now we will go ahead and cut open our desiccant silica gel packet to put into this container with the capsules that we just did. It's pretty large, so that's once again why I wanted to make sure I had a large bottle reserved for us. So this will just go in with the capsules, and will stay in there to make sure that they are dry. And like I said, on here it tells you how to it basically says, as I am taking away from it, that the bag should stay in there with the capsules. And if you notice that there's any jamming of the beads that are in there, then you should re-dry your bag and put it back in, or at that point put a new one in if you have a second one to go through. I think we should be okay, because this jar was previously used, and prior to me setting it aside, it had one of these smaller little silica gel packs in there to absorb any moisture or humidity for that case. So I feel pretty confident that we are in good shape, so I'll just keep that in there for the time being. But this worked out amazingly. I am very pleased with the process. I was very timid when it came to doing this. I set it off for quite a while, as like I said, we processed this liver on November 12th, and now it's mid-December. So I wish I would have done it sooner, but now I know how simple and easy it is. You just need a little bit of time. I know people out there will say, why don't you just go buy the capsules? But in the end, the savings of doing this are quite astronomical. Where I would more than likely purchase capsules. I would not be able to get them in the amount that I just made, and easily we could have made more, but I am going to be pushing my limits of time if I continue on. But like I said, the amount that we have left in here and what we have of our frozen liver is so much. So of course, beginning when you're doing any project, you are paying for the tools and the capsules. In this case, I could probably buy them in a much larger bag and save. Right now, since I was just trying it out, I essentially paid for packaging. So maybe in the description of this, I'll put a breakdown of price of what this cost, what the capsules cost, what the liver cost compared to what the package of buying pre-done capsules would be, but based off making 76 capsules for the cost of just the liver. And yes, if you don't have a freeze dryer, that is a cost, but something we already had. So this was pretty cool. If you enjoyed seeing this video and the content that we're putting out, please consider subscribing if you're not already, and you'll be notified when future videos are set to premiere our posts. In the meantime, I'm going to reseal our remaining liver that we have for our future time of doing this. I will also reseal our capsule bag and clean our equipment very carefully, not in the dishwasher, but with warm soapy water, and making sure that it is very dry before we use it the next time. But we used all of the liver that we had crushed. There are some larger pieces. If I didn't mention already, in the future I would probably be putting this in a blender to just get everything agitated and into the most fine powder that you can. This was good for a first trial, and yeah, I think I am very pleased with how it turned out, and I hope that you took away something from it as well. In the meantime, we hope that you are doing well and that you are having a wonderful holiday season so far, and of course we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!